Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 781, if I'm correct. And I am currently testing new device. We'll see how it goes. It's again from DJI. I mentioned yesterday about the purchase that they made recently, and we bought 2 drones, and I forgot completely to mention that we actually also bought DJI Osmo Mobile 6, which is basically an advanced mobile stick, you can say. Advanced to the point that obviously if you have just a mobile stick, it's just a mobile stick, but this one is obviously has a lot of interesting features that help in not only recording but also in doing a lot of other stuff. It's very handy. As you can see, I'm just taking it into my hand and kind of moving the device, and it has a gimbal, which is basically making sure that it's stable and doesn't shake. Obviously it sways a bit, but yeah, I can probably just move myself a little bit and it centers on me. So it's a nice feature. It tracks my face and it helps with the recording, especially if I put it on the tripod. So let's get to the update, because the title is I would say self-explanatory. It's Sauna in the dark, and I mentioned about our small business too many times, and that we operate after dark, especially now that the days are getting shorter. So it's no news that we operate sauna in the dark. Actually, let me use an interesting thing, because the clamp that I mounted on the phone is actually allowing for a bit of light. So it has separate lights to improve a little bit. Okay, not sure if it's not too much. It's blinding me a little bit, but yeah, I think it helps a little bit with graininess, albeit I can see that graininess is also happening on the sides, but it's not the stick to blame, it's the phone. So let me give you a short update of what happened on Wednesday, because it was first time this week that we were operating sauna. We operate only 2 working weeks, Wednesday and Friday for now, because it's fairly quiet still, albeit it's picking up in demand. And then we obviously operate during the weekends. So Wednesday was the first day. I preheated the sauna during the day. We started the day pretty normally. I just dropped Julian at school, and then we drove to Murva Beach. Elizabeth went on a short jog, a slow jog, and I decided to use for the first time our new drone, DJI Air 3S. And I must say that in comparison to that small blogging drone that I bought recently from DJI, the Neo, it's just a different world. And of course I knew about it. Of course its cost and advanced character is known for people that already work with drones or use drones before. But for me, it was still a surprise how versatile this machine is and how much technology is packed into that drone. And again, I will finish up this episode with a short clip from the drone, and it will be sauna in the dark, so we can see how it looks. But yeah, we started normally, dropped Julian at school, we went to Murva, Elizabeth went for a jog, and I started testing the drone. It was amazing. It wasn't windy almost at all, small breeze, and it was extra stable. It didn't have to fight anything up there, and I went as far as 120 meters, and it has 3-axis gimbal, so it is super stable. It's a heavy drone, so some of you know that I'm registered pilot at the moment, and I did the training to operate legally and compliant in A1, A3 open category in European Union. So I'm formally trained and formally registered as a pilot, so all those risks and things are now ingrained in my head, and I think like a drone pilot, I hope. Even though amateur, I still feel like this is important to know. So after that stay at Murva and my play with drone, we went back home. I preheated the sauna and started chopping some wood and made dinner ready, so we save time when Julian comes from school and immediately we can deploy sauna. And then I drove to pick Julian. We ate quickly the dinner and he stayed home while we went for afternoon sunset sessions with the sauna. And the small worrying bit was that I completely forgot to do one thing, which was to refuel the car. So on the way to the beach, I realized that we really have about 90 kilometers range, but it was quickly dropping. So when we arrived at the beach, it was 60, because that range is just a approximate thing. And with the sauna, it's obviously a much bigger fuel consumption that normally. But we stayed at the beach. It was low tide, so it was nice and easy access to the sand. We stayed on the beach. It was amazing sunset. It was very warm and nice. We had a couple of bookings already, so it was nice to have that Wednesday midweek not empty as it was sometimes during that October time. People really enjoyed it, and once it started getting dark, I added lights to the sauna, so people were enjoying that even more. And later on, when everyone was done, Elizabeth went to the sauna while I was doing some footage and clips with the Air 3S again, so that was a second session. And while I was super aware of the surroundings, I did one mistake in the dark, and it didn't cost me much, but I'd say it's a scar on my ego a little bit, because I was trained, I assessed the height of the drone, but I wanted to do a shot in the dark while pulling away the drone from the sauna. So I assessed the shore, the height of the fence and the house behind me. So I roughly knew that not only when I will be pulling off, I will be also lifting the drone and it will be fine. What I didn't account for in the dark was that on top of the roof of that home, there was not a tall, but tall enough chimney. And when I was filming and pulling away and lifting the drone, I must have hit it with one of the propellers or part of the drone, because I immediately in the camera I saw that it kind of flicked. So I was really scared that I lost it or I broke it completely. But funny enough, it recovered completely, stabilized, and I was able to operate it, keep operating it without any problems. So it must have been a big hit. As I said, I was high enough, but not high enough to not rub it against the part of that chimney. So I kept filming, and when I returned the drone, it displayed the message that the collision was detected and that I should check the propellers. So it's so well built and programmed and has so much technology in it that it detects the way it behaves in the air, that one of the propellers is not working right. I suspect, because I checked, and indeed one of the propellers were slightly damaged, and we have spare propellers in as a part of the package, so it wasn't a problem. I replaced it, and there was slight damage to the one of the feet of the drone when it stands, but nothing that would affect the operational capability of drone. I still have that DJI Care, so I could send it back and they would send me a new one, or they would just fix it. But I think they would just send me a new one while fixing the one that I sent to them. They would sell it at refurbished. So not a big deal, but I don't want to send it now because we are flying to Tenerife next week, so I want to keep the drone and go with it. Maybe afterwards I will replace the drone. But yeah, it's amazing how versatile this drone is. And the reason why I hit the chimney during the day, it wouldn't happen, because that drone is built with plethora of sensors around it. The problem is that these are optical sensors, so there are cameras around it that would detect that chimney and would just kind of brake and, well, use the brakes to kind of stop him before hitting it. But in the dark, most of the drones are just blind and won't operate. This one can operate because it has LiDAR scanner in front of it. So it has collision detection in front, but not at the back. And that was the reason why I was able to brush against that chimney. The most important thing is that I didn't damage the property of anyone. I didn't hit the window or anything like that that would cause the damage. But the drone got a little bit of bruise, I would say. So we'll see how it goes. I already love this drone, and this device is also cool. So let me finish now because it's already 13 minutes and I still need to add a short clip at the end of the update. So that was really it. I will now be using a bit of drafts that I created in the past. I still have backlog of things from Gran Canaria back in the days when we were, I don't remember even when was it, but yeah, I still have it. So I still, and because we are going back to Tenerife next week, it kind of connects a little bit. So I'll try to reminisce a bit about things on Gran Canaria while talking about Tenerife, and hopefully they align. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again in tomorrow's episode.